This is Learning the Ropes. Learning the Ropes. Presented by Costin and Hammer Productions. Now, on to the show with your host, Josh Hammer.
Welcome, everyone, to Learning the Ropes, a podcast that uses the game of baseball as a vehicle to learn about a variety of other topics to improve personal development and to better understand the perspectives of those around us. With me today, I have the GM of Carmazzi Popcorn. Yes, I'm talking the best of the West. It's family owned and operated. It is insanely good, as I would like to say from time to time. So I'm just going to say to you right now, those of you that are tuning in, to bring in the paparazzi, because I'm joined here with Paul Carmazzi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate it. It's great to be here, and just, as always, love the energy, man. And, who could say anything better like that? That's phenomenal.
I appreciate you saying so. The feeling is mutual. I think when we have combined forces in the past, it's so much electric energy that people don't even know how to react to it. And that's okay, because we're here to spread some good vibes. I think especially right now in this unprecedented time that we are all facing in our own way, I do not want to undermine anyone that is going through anything, particularly from their own perspective. But, I feel grateful that, I'm fed, I have shelter, and some sort of career. So, just taking those little blessings and making the most of it, not taking it for granted, as I know that you are. And right now, you all are bringing a lot of joy to a lot of people right now. And that's something I want to dive a little bit deeper into, and that is Carmazzi Popcorn. So could you maybe shed light on what Carmazzi Popcorn is and what led you to making this, let's just go, glorious popcorn?
It really started with my great-grandmother. She came out with the recipe, and my mom was the only one to learn it from her. And only one. I have a big family, lots of brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles.
Right.
And they kept it a secret between them.
Wow.
And then, just after years of getting the craft down, we decided to start selling it. It started, I think we first started getting the idea of selling it to friends and family back when I was going to high school. And, Christian Brothers does that trip to Europe with Tom English. And I think Miss Gallagher went when I went. Shout out to them. Hope they're doing well.
Shout out to any CB Falcon tuning in. It's not often that we have a crossover of alumni unless it's a CB wine and beer extravaganza or other alumni events. But you know what? We're making stuff happen.
The Falcons are flying fierce right now. Great
Absolutely.
Day. It's a great day to be a Falcon. So
always bleeding blue. I'm even wearing a blue pullover.
I like it.
I know. Always. Anyhow, back to the popcorn.
Back to the popcorn. Keeping it there. I sold enough from friends and family. Very thankful for all of their help, continuing into this day now. But I sold enough to fund the trip to go to Europe. Then Megan did it after me. That's one of my younger sisters. And then Anne-Marie did that years after too. And then when I was in college, I would sell it here and there. And I went to school for agricultural business. So I was already studying the realm of food and all that. Meanwhile, my mom's building and growing the company more here in Sacramento. And one of my teachers loved the product and just loved the idea about it, and actually got one of her classes to do a case study on it.
I saw that. Okay. A whole case study on Carmazzi Popcorn. What were some of these takeaways that we learned in this study? I'm curious.
Oh, that's a great question, man. They, let's see, I want to say they surveyed around, I don't know, I think it was like 300 people, and it was a college town, mostly college kids, but they found that the caramel corn goes great with coffee, wine, and beer. And it's a great snack. And it's, even with coffee, like it just the caramel taste, but it's not too overpowering. You get the little hints of vanilla too. It's a great kind of crunch to go. Yeah, you want some right now, just think about it. Yeah.
Virtually, I'll eat some through the screen. Yes.
Boom. Corn.
Wow.
But we found mostly that goes well with that, and that, um, just making sure other small detail stuff about how we present the product to the people, like making sure that we are distinct about what type of flavor the corn is on the packaging, make it really, really apparent, and people don't even have to guess what type it is,
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember it's for any vegan lovers out there as well. That's another point I wanted to make, because there's some that tune in to learning the ropes and other production stuff, the content that we've made. And we have a show called Saturday Night Scoop where we're using Ripple ice cream as our proud sponsor, and it's vegan. It's vegan ice cream. It is amazing, top notch.
Really? Ooh,
So is that true? I believe it is, right?
Oh,
Carmazzi
it is. Yeah, we do a vegan caramel corn as well. And, looking out there's not a lot of vegan caramel corns out there. And I don't even know if there's a lot of vegan caramel, because, the basis of caramel or caramel, classic debate right there. Classic debate.
Oh,
Caramel,
classic.
caramel.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
It's been on my mind since
since I learned the word.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Hello, my ragtime doll.
Yeah, we sing that because from what I've seen, you've had let's just go with incredible performances on your promo content for Carmazzi popcorn. That alone, I mean, you talk about customer product. When I see you bring in the thunder on your promos,
like that,
I bet if you were a pro wrestler, you could cut absolutely scathing promos on other pro wrestlers, and it could be you just selling your popcorn and saying how their popcorn's going to trump anything that they bring inside that ring. That's the kind of thunder that you bring to the table when it comes to Carmazzi popcorn.
We're going to coat them. We're going to pop them into oblivion. And then we're going to stuff them in a bag. Something like that.
Holy shades from Captain Insano. That was incredible. Great
just
movie, Waterboy. Yes.
Just a little something. But, it's fun, ultimately. I have a good time with it. And lo and behold, I had no idea how much love we get from other people doing it, and it's a reciprocal relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
We give, and then the people give back, and it's like, yo, what? Like, okay, we got to do some more, so.
Right. Well, everyone talks about, customers. I think of Disney and those big marquee corporations. What I like is that it's local in Sacramento, and you're really doing a lot of good for the community. And I think people actually can really see that your product and its value to the customers are the driving forces behind the decisions that are being made into the business. And I think
that's spot on, because
thanks.
Great. I'm glad you're seeing that, man. Because to us, we think a lot about we work with some schools and do fundraisers for them, and helps them out, because usually they can get a higher percentage versus not ripping on other QSP fundraisers or stuff like that, but sometimes schools get a lower cut, and just because there's so many pieces involved and bigger entities like that got to get paid. But we want to take Sacramento's our home, man. Sacramento has given so much. Just being involved is more fun too. Man, all the different breweries and different coffee houses, and there are just some great people out there, working day in, day out, loving their craft, and being able to be a part of that is really something special in the SAP community. So shout out to everyone who has helped us along the way. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's unique about Carmazzi popcorn. Being that I'm in the Bay Area, I've seen a few local vendors that try to bring that community aspect. But every time I walk by, I just go, no one's quite like Carmazzi popcorn. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And then I tap my shoe 3 times and it doesn't work. But
really, that's not. Because every time I do it, I get flooded with popcorn. So I got to be careful, you know? Yeah.
I get it. But the good thing is that when you do that, you find yourself a magical treat. So for that, I'm jealous, but I digress. So one other thing that I wanted to, I wanted to talk about, your life with sports as a major background in your upbringing, and ultimately something that we both have relation with is football and baseball being in our background. I'm sure folks that we know would even go as far as saying, well, the Carmazzi Hammer family, there's baseball in their blood. There's football in their blood, sports in their blood. And I don't know. I've heard that from folks in my, I would say in my corner from time to time. But I really think about, I've had the pleasure of playing for your pops, for instance, and I'm sure he's tuning in, putting this on his Twitter, trending worldwide right now.
He's making a TikTok of it actually as we speak.
I cannot wait to see the unveiling of your dad's TikTok. So we're challenging you, Coach Carmazzi. Make a TikTok right here, right now.
You hear that, Dad? You hear that? The dawn. Anyways, but yeah, man, when you're talking about that, like growing up in Sacramento with such a strong sports scene, and especially baseball. Like, so recently, my dad just got inducted to the Sacramento Baseball Hall of Fame, which blew my mind. I never, growing up, I can only put it in so much perspective of how City College and Sacramento as a whole had such a predominant baseball game and just baseball programs. And when I was there at that induction, it was amazing to see all these old coaches, like reporters, strongest baseball scenes in the nation, and it just blew my mind. I could not believe it, Mm-hmm. And here we are in California too, which is like, you could play ball all year round, which is, something that a lot of other, places in the world you just can't do. So always been grateful about that. But yeah, you're right, man. We shared baseball and football playing that, both at Christian Brothers, and you got to play on afterwards. And sports always seem to, feel like they've been so involved in our families because sports teach you a lot of things, They show a lot of character. They show how to test yourself when
absolutely
there's so many times when you're on the field, on the court, wherever you are, and sometimes you just don't think you have anything else to give, and your teammate, your coach does something, says something, and then all of a sudden, you get that feeling of I can keep pushing it, that drive. I think that's.
I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you. It's something that to your point, I heard this, and it's not from a it's actually this very strange book I was reading, but I got something out of it. It's a Japanese proverb and I thought about baseball and, not only playing for your pops, but for Coach Rich Henning and having this varsity staff that we had at Christian Brothers. I felt like we had that next level of mentorship. And it really helped kind of gain, as you pointed out, about, finding confidence in yourself. I, for one, definitely was not the most talented. But what they did for me is they pushed me to reach my full potential, and it gave me that little seed of confidence that even though I had anxiety and I was scared to look into that and to channel that, but the Japanese proverb talks about, I believe it's vision without action is just a dream, but action without vision is a nightmare. And that was what would scare me and would not let me sleep at night. Was I had a dream. I knew I wanted to play college baseball, even since I was a kid, but I was always scared out of my mind to take it to that next level. and through the graces of some solid mentorship. And I constantly, I felt humbled every step of the way through high school and even more so in college. And I don't think it's about playing. If you have the passion and dream to go play college baseball, go for it. But if you have the dream and passion to do something else, all of those things in sports kind of translate into that and give us that transferable skill to use in different career paths. And for me, it was just giving me that little seed of confidence that I did not have in anything. And so I think all of my leadership opportunities back to baseball, especially in my high school days. And that's why I think there's no one better when I think of not just your family, but for you, I think about someone that I look up to personally as someone who knows how to be an authentic, good person and just do some good in the community by being, bringing humor, being authenticity into everything you do. And that's why Carmazzi Popcorn is all the more better for it. And I hope that people that, even if it's 2 people that listen to this podcast, walk away going, that's what's up. Carmazzi and Hammer are bringing the thunder. So I just sharing my gratitude, but also to go off your point, I think, again, vision without action is a dream. Action without vision is a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I'm gonna write that down, like that's truth, man. I'm humbled by the words, and a lot of the feelings are mutual. That's why we're here today.
Right here. Yeah.
Right here, right now.
Oh.
But, totally I want to touch on the point of bringing values from sports and lessons into the work ethic and the working world. Like, for me, one of the biggest things was being able to get along with a team. Every sport you play, always different characters, always different people, and to me, there's always times where, I always felt like, same thing with the confidence thing. I never felt super comfortable in my athletic abilities, especially in baseball, surprisingly. But coming in my freshman year, I had never played catcher. And then my dad's
that's right.
Oh, yeah, my dad was like, "Oh, I heard, by the way, no one's a catcher in your freshman baseball class. So you're going to learn how to play catcher." And I was like,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, I'm learning how to play catcher now.
I thought it was just because at that time you were a phenomenal lineman. I know that much. I even played O-line and like backup, but I still played. But you were pretty solid at football. I had no idea that's how you fell into catching. Similarly for me, I caught a little bit in Little League, but I didn't know. I thought you just always played catcher growing up. I didn't know that.
No, man. Oh, my God. Freshman year was so rough. Like, sports, my relationship with baseball was so up and down in high school, but it taught me that, once again, I had to control my controllables, even though I wasn't super conscious of that yet. It taught me that, I just got to keep bringing the best I can. Because ultimately, I was fortunate enough to have my dad help put in perspective of, dude, some of these guys have been playing ball for years. And here I am, just learning how to play catcher now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I mean, I do know what you're saying, because in college, I go in as a backup catcher, and then I turn into, okay, I'm going to go out in a scrimmage and throw, and throw an overhand, and then the next practice, week goes by, and I'm turning into a submarine pitcher.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I do know what it feels like to go, well, righty then. As the great Ace Ventura would say. So, yeah.
Nice way to bring it together. But, yeah, man, It's interesting. But that going back to the teamwork and just being able to be flexible with people, because baseball's a heavy momentum swing game. A lot of sports are momentum, but baseball, to me, I think is probably one of the heaviest.
Absolutely.
Because you got so much downtime that you got to keep things up. And I felt like I was able to play with some great guys who, had a good head on their shoulders and were able to dude, you got to take the punches in sports, and just hey, whatever, sometimes I would get blown up on the offensive line and be like, all right, well, good thing there's the next play, and just like life, sometimes you just get slammed out of nowhere. But you got to realize that, you got to keep picking yourself up and moving forward. And obviously everything's not so black and white with these things. And
no, 100%.
But still, like, perseverance and, like, ultimately teamwork, man, because, there's a quote I heard, like, if you're not asking for help, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
You're not dreaming big enough,
Yes.
Because ultimately you have to have a team in order to do things much larger than yourself. And sometimes I wish that, I don't know, man, I feel like, that definitely comes across still in sports, but, I really hope and wish that the young ones are learning these value stills and having fun with it. You gotta have fun.
Yep. Having fun changes the pressure into pleasure, as the great Ken Griffey Jr. would say.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
Oh, thank you. I got it from a meme. Yeah. I want to talk about one thing that you talked about mentioned about football. Football being on the O-line, there's that saying of, like, there's a series of collisions with the test of strength, skill, and will. And it's basically, big guy clearing the way for fast guys with countless contests of individual courage and toughness until one side collectively wears down physically or surrenders mentally. And so when you think about life, and just, your career, personal development, I think it's important to look inward just as much as it is to look outward. And I think a problem that student athletes do go through, I did myself, I was a little bit pudgy and overweight at times. So there's that whole thing about image and being comfortable in our own skin and just kind of understanding our unique skills and talents, but not down, hurting ourselves more and letting our weakness overtake what we're doing. I'm sure we could do a own podcast on that, but I just wanted you to maybe touch on, if you're, up to, is to touch on one thing that you've grown through over the years, just as a person, with your experience with football, and then how it kind of carried on to college and to where you're at now.
Man, that's an interesting thing. Like, I think, one of the things is probably, like, belief in self. Like, growing up, I was never really one to have a lot of confidence or self-esteem until I got to Christian Brothers in high school and started surrounding myself with people who helped build me up and wanted to be engaging in my life, and I wanted to engage in theirs. And on the field, I felt that, as an offensive lineman, I love playing offensive line. I thought we were the biggest, baddest SOBs out there,
Yeah, you were. Yeah. your class was.
Yeah, and it was great. It was like, who's going to mess with this, like, 225 or 250 pound guy right now, And but that it was, I don't know, just I think one of the biggest things really was trusting myself, no matter what the enemy or the opponent, like, looked like, whatever adversity looks like in life. It was really I think about just, like, trusting myself to put forth the work and go against the adversity and trust in my abilities too, because a lot of the times I would surprise myself on the field.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've gone through that growing pain too from time to time. I think, to ring it home, there's one common thread with what you're saying in the past few topics that we're delving into, and I think it's the importance of surrounding ourselves with people that will not only push you to, reach your goals and build you up to the next level, but people that essentially who love you for the person that you are and who you want to be. So meaning embracing those imperfections, you know, just like a relationship, same kind of thing. But you need those bros too. There, you know. So on that note, I think when it comes to surrounding yourself with good people, I think popping popcorn with Carmazzi popcorn is the way to do it. So I highly suggest, you know, go ahead and get your Carmazzi popcorn right here, right now, right here, right now. The list goes on. But Paul, is there anything that you'd like to add before we close shop on the show?
You know, just always want to give gratitude and appreciation to everyone out there, because may we always be mindful of ourselves and others. And, you know, we're all in it together. Ultimately, it's just us.
Junior. It has been a pleasure. We'll catch you next time on Learning the Ropes.
You gotta have some fun with it, and you gotta respect some other people. So in these times, I'm glad to see, you know, even though there's a lot of unknown, what I do know and see is a lot of people are still coming together and they're still supporting each other. And that's phenomenal to see. And I hope that we build that turns into a habitual life habit.
Yeah, the new trend.
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah. And so keep it up, people. Like we're in it together. And if you ever need a little drop of sunshine, Carmazzi Caramel Corn's got you. You know, here's our pin. And you know, we it's the best popcorn in the West, so you gotta enjoy it. But
there it is. Folks. Yeah. All right. Well, on behalf of myself and Paul Carmazzi Jr., the GM of Carmazzi Popcorn, make sure to get your order now. We will put all the links in the description. And as always, please be sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever the heck you get your podcasts. Just please throw a rate and review. It really helps us out. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and throw on those notifications so you know exactly when the next Costin and Hammer Productions video drops.
Smash that like button. Smash it.
So on behalf of myself and Paul Carmazzi Jr., it has been a pleasure. We'll catch you next time on Learning the Ropes.